Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Trade Ideas Live Trading Room recap for Friday, March the 8th. My name is Barry Anderson. I'm the moderator of our trading room, and this is the address to get into the room. It is a free room. Free room. The room is open between 9 and 4. I'm on the mic live between those two times, and again, I share my screen also. If you want to take out a subscription to Trade Ideas, this is the link you can use. And also, we're having an open house next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. By that, I mean you'll have full access for free trade ideas for those 3 days, all the bells and whistles that we have to offer. No mumbo jumbo, no credit cards, no nothing. There's going to be a link in the body of this, in the text. Just take a look at it. You might have to click on the more info if it's buried, but there'll be a link for the open house. All right. Just a second. All right, so I'm back here now. First of all, giant kudos go out to UA07 for his LXU call. He asked me at 12:43. The price was 12:43, right about here. He said, "Barry, what do you think about this one?" Now these are 15-minute candles. Maybe if I get to 5, now I'll get back to 15. Anyway, he asked me right about here what I thought about it, and I said, it looks pretty good and all that. Well, look what it did right after that. And I know a lot of people got into this. So from 12:43, it hit a high of 13:49. And, that was just a great, I didn't see this. This did not come up on the options play because the options, when I looked at this, in fact, right now the options are 150%, but at this point they were only about 50%. So it wasn't exhibiting abnormal option activity. So it wasn't showing up in our little our window here. But nonetheless, he pointed it out, and I know a lot of people took this trade. I did not. Well, I took a little scalp, but I mean, really nothing to speak of. But just a nice point out. So big kudos to UA07 for that call. Early call, too. Remember, this is in the first 15 minutes of the day. And the day is, this was, for me anyway, this was a very, very slow day. I did trade AEL, really nothing to speak of. I am still in 2 trades, and in fact, let me just find them, make sure I can see them, because I have to keep an eye on them. Bear with me 1 second. They're charts on other monitors. Okay, sometimes they disappear. Okay, so I am in still 2 trades now. The one nice trade for me is Sarepta. Okay, this is getting annoying. Maybe I just stick them here and hopefully they won't disappear behind that screen. So Sarepta is the trade probably, well, most proud of, whatever you want to call it. If you look at Sarepta on a daily chart, perhaps you're going to see why this was so cool. Now this was, as a result of doing some scanning after the market closed yesterday. I had seen this one before, believe me, looking for a break around here, but there's the pullback, and then yesterday had a decent day, not quite breaking this, so I put an alert. I put a price alert on our charts right around this level. I think it was 1735, okay? When it triggered, it's not in here anymore. I've actually removed it, but when it triggered, I knew about it. Again, these are our price alerts. You don't have to have this window up all the time. You can minimize it, but the minute something triggers, this window will pop up, and you'll get an audio alert. So that's what happened for me with Sarepta, and you have to just take a look at the massive gap. I mean, here's an area right there to 28, and the supreme area to 39. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but as Dan said in our webinar, and I love the term he used. He said, "We're not predicting, just because I put an alert here, we're not predicting that it's going to trigger, but we are going to be prepared for it if it does, and that's so important. I mean, it could never trigger. This could have sat here and then just gone down to 0. So what? We've set the trigger. We're prepared for it. If it happens, it happens. But I want to know about it when it happens. So, bottom line is that I'm in the trade at 1738. I think I put yeah, but right there I'm in at 1738. I did take some out because I'm really not one to hold these sort of stocks, especially a bio. You never know what might happen. But I'm out some at 1750, and I was out some right here at 1775. Still holding. It's tried to pop through 18 several times. But if you are a person who, wants to perhaps hold stock for a few days, my only caution is, of course, is that this is a bio, and they can be very, very wild. One of our posters in the room did point out that I'm not sure if it's a CEO, but certainly some executive at the company bought about 1.3 million dollars worth, I think, of shares at around 1550, 1575 on March 14th, which is not that long ago. So I think this has obviously helped the stock. The other one I'm in still is the little one, just a little one, is SPWR. And I took this kind of on a reverse. Let me just make sure I can find it here. It was on an RBI 5. I'm just going to put on. And I was wrong. It was actually on a green bar ignored. And let's just get SPWR up. And it was on a 5 minute. So I'm going to have to go to a 5 minute candle. I'll show you what I was looking for here. Maybe get this a little quite as big. Okay, so at 11:55, so the price 23.97. Let's see if I can find it quickly. All right, so it's this candle right here. Now, this might look a little confusing, but it's kind of interesting for me anyway. So what this is looking for, here's the pattern. It's looking for a downtrending pattern. It has to have, I believe, 3 or 4 red candles in a row down, and then it's looking for this pattern: the red, a green, and a red. Now, notice that it triggered at, I gotta find it again. Just 1 second. Okay, it's right here. I know what happens when I get a new one, it pops up at 11:54. The trigger price was 23.97. That meant to, in theory, go short. Okay, so I saw this, but this is the interesting thing. Now we have two types of RBIs and GBIs. One is what we call the preview, and this is what I'm looking at. And what happens is, you see, there's the price. At the bottom of that green candle is when you get the trigger. Now, you have to understand that this green candle at one point was red. It was moving down. That's how we got the trigger. As this candle was moving down and it moved below that price, that's where we got the trigger at 23.97. That's what we call a preview. The other form of the GBI and RBIs that we have, and again, this just stands for green bar ignored, is that we have to let this green candle, or this third candle, completely form before we get the trigger. In this particular case, we wouldn't have had a trigger because this did not end up as a red candle. That's what would have had to have happened for it to trigger. So, but I actually like the preview because I like to make my determination whether or not I'm liking what I'm seeing in this trade. So anyway, when I saw that, okay, it triggered, but then it moved back up and it moved back over the whole number, and it held there for a bit. Notice how it held there for a bit. Now, granted, the buyers tried to take it up. The sellers knocked it down a little bit. Buyers took it up. So these topping tails aren't wonderful, but then this next candle kept growing, and I said, you know what, taking the trade. So I took the trade long, so basically counter to what, in theory, this was telling me. I mean, they don't all, remember, this is pattern recognition. It doesn't absolutely mean that the pattern is going to continue down. So I ended up taking the trade long at 24.05, and I exited some at 24.17. I've been holding on. I basically said that if it got down to my trigger, now I almost got out right here because this is where I'm in at 24.05. Almost got out here. and I'm long, okay? But held on. The reason I can hold on is because I sold some at 24.17. So, during this little pullback, it didn't bother me so much. The worst I thought is, okay, I'll get out flat the last bit, but I've made some money on the first half. Anyway, now I'm still holding on to this. So, these are going to be, I think, wonderful alerts once we're able to put more filters in place. Right now, all we can do is we can put price, we can put minimum volume. We have a couple of little filters here, but I want to add some more filters in place, and I think that these patterns are going to be fabulous to use and going forward, especially on days which are not as dynamic because, you know, when you look at a lot of them, like they trigger 32.45 to short, 32.47 is the stop, a 2 cent stop. Now, because what they're doing is they're basically saying, okay, if there is a trigger at 23.97, we're going to put the stop at the top of that candle. This is for this example. So your stops are usually really, really tight. You don't have to obey them completely. You can give them a little more leeway if you want. But what I love about them is that usually you know whether or not they continue immediately or not. And if you get stopped out, it's a very tight stop, and you just move on. And those are certainly the types of trades that I like. And again, this is part of our premium package. And one of the things I'm basically done now. So one of the things about the open house next week, somebody has asked, can we, if we already have just TI Pro, just the normal, I'll call it the standard package, can we still participate in the open house and see what all your premium stuff is all about? And yes, you can. And again, I'm going to have a link for you to use for that. And in fact, what I really should have done is put them in here, I suppose. But maybe on Monday I will. But there's a link. Just look in the text, okay, for the in YouTube, and you'll see it there. And there's a link to click on. Anyway, thanks a lot for listening, everyone. Again, I have to reiterate, a free room, free room. So invite your friends. I mean, a lot of people are telling me this is just a great room. It's not just me. We have a lot of great traders in the room, and we're on topic the whole day. So we don't deviate from stock. So we have a little bit of fun. Don't get me wrong, but we definitely are focused on looking for stocks all day long. And again, I'm on the mic live between 9 and 4. All right. Well, listen, I hope everybody has a great weekend, and we'll see you in our trading room on Monday. Bye-bye.